So what does a presidential debate look like without Donald Trump? Well, after the Republicans pulled no punches in their showdowns, the Democrats finally having their moment in the spotlight. Frontrunners Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders facing off for the first time, surprising some onlookers with alternating policy attacks and an unexpected truce.
Right out of the gate, the tough questions.
Will you say anything to get elected?
Anderson Cooper asking Hillary Clinton about her recent flip-flops, from gay marriage to last week's trade deal.
Well, actually, I have been very consistent over the course of my entire life. I have always fought for the same values and principles, but like most human beings, including those of us who run for office, I do absorb new information. I do look at what's happening in the world.
But the real sparks flying between the top two contenders, Clinton and Bernie Sanders, going toe-to-toe for the first time. The first hot-button issue, gun control.
Is Bernie Sanders tough enough on guns?
No, not at all.
With Clinton attacking Sanders' record.
Senator Sanders did vote 5 times against the Brady bill. He also did vote, as he said, for this immunity provision. I voted against it. I was in the Senate at the same time. It wasn't that complicated to me. It was pretty straightforward to me that he was going to give immunity to the only industry in America. Everybody else has to be accountable, but not the gun manufacturers.
What I can tell Secretary Clinton, that all the shouting in the world is not going to do what I would hope all of us want, and that is keep guns out of the hands of people who should not have those guns and end this horrible violence that we are seeing.
But the most dramatic moment came after she was pressed on her use of a private internet server for official emails.
I did say it was a mistake. What I did was allowed by the State Department, but it wasn't the best choice. But let's just take a minute here and point out that this committee is basically an arm of the Republican National Committee. It is a partisan vehicle, as admitted by the House Republican Majority Leader, Mr. McCarthy, to drive down my poll numbers. Big surprise.
And that's when Sanders surprised the crowd with this.
Let me say something that may not be great politics, but I think the Secretary is right. And that is that the American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
Enough of the emails. Let's talk about the real issues facing America.
Thank you, Bernie. Thank you.
A crowd-pleasing moment that won even the approval of their arch-enemy, Donald Trump. He tweeted, "Good move by Bernie S." It was one of many Sanders applause lines, throwing out progressive red meat throughout the night.
The planet that we're going to be leaving our kids and our grandchildren may well not be habitable. To make sure that our people have education and jobs rather than jail cells. To take back our government from a handful of billionaires and create the vibrant democracy we know we can and should have.
Well, I thought Bernie Sanders did very well. Of all the folks on the debate stage tonight, I thought he did the best. He was the most disciplined on message. He kept returning to the message. He was the most passionate about his message. And I thought if you came in liking Bernie Sanders, then you loved him after this. And I thought he probably, more than anybody, probably got a little bit more of a bump from this debate than anybody else. He probably didn't position himself well for a general election, but I think he did himself well among Democratic primary voters.
But throughout the debate, Hillary Clinton stayed in command of the issues, also reminding voters that this Clinton presidency would make history.
I think being the first woman president would be quite a change from the presidents we've had up until this point, including President Obama.
But she also took care to distance herself from her husband.
I would not ask anyone to vote for me based on my last name. I'd ask them to listen to what I'm proposing, look at what I accomplished.
Not in the audience tonight, former President Bill Clinton. He tweeted this photo of himself in front of the TV in his hotel room, saying, "What happens in Vegas is I watch Hillary Clinton prove she's the most qualified candidate for POTUS. Hashtag I'm with her." And judging from the reaction of the live audience and the virtual one tweeting from home, political analysts say Hillary Clinton did more than hold her own.
I thought she looked as Hillary always looks, which is she's very competent, very composed, very intelligent, and very experienced. I don't think she helped herself because she didn't deal with some fundamental problems that she has related to being genuine and related to being likable.
The latest ABC News Washington Post poll showing Clinton still enjoying an advantage over Sanders, despite his recent surge. Earlier today, the super PAC Draft Biden put out this campaign ad, using his own words from the last Democratic convention to push him to run.
It's about being able to look your child in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay.
But the Veep staying quiet tonight, choosing to watch the action from home. Winning favor in Nevada is key, since it's the party's third nominating state after Iowa and New Hampshire. But the candidates didn't play dirty. It's clear Clinton and Sanders took great pains to play nice. The rules of civility didn't extend to their Republican rivals. Clinton here taking a thinly veiled dig at the anti-immigration Trump.
There is such a difference between everything you're hearing here on this stage and what we hear from the Republicans who have demonized hardworking immigrants, who have insulted them.
And that means saying no to Donald Trump.
This after she took a jab at him yesterday when speaking at a union protest outside a Trump hotel in Las Vegas.
Now, some people think Mr. Trump is entertaining, but I don't think it's entertaining when somebody insults immigrants, insults women.
Clinton's focus on the issues, a move to turn the conversation away from her congressional investigations into her conduct related to the Benghazi attack. Investigations which may affect her poll numbers, which in turn may factor into Biden's decision to run.
I think when you take a look at the context of this whole debate, the one clear winner that I saw was Joe Biden, who wasn't there, which is if he was watching this debate or other Democrats were watching this debate, it would actually encourage him to get in, because what you saw in that debate is still people not ready to take on a general election fight. So I thought the clear winner was Joe Biden.
Last month, she addressed a possible Biden presidency when she sat down with my colleague David Muir.
You would often have breakfast with the vice president. Would he make a good president?
Well, I like Joe Biden a lot, and I think he is a great vice president. If he gets into this election, there'll be lots of time to talk about, what he wants to do.
Would he make a good president?
Well, I think he could be a good president. There's no doubt about that. But I think we shouldn't get into the politics of this back and forth, because I don't think it's fair to him. He's testing the waters. He deserves to test the waters.
But a Biden run is considered bad news for Clinton, since polls suggest his candidacy will likely eat into her support. An ABC News Washington Post poll asked Democratic voters who they'd vote for. Clinton led Sanders by 42 to 24, with Biden in the race. Without Biden, her lead jumps to 56% to Sanders' 28. Political junkies won't have to wait long. Biden may announce his decision as early as this week.